Listening to The Sports Nuts.
And welcome to another edition of the Sports Corner Show. My name is Ralph Williams. I'm your host, along with my co-host Smokin, Jim Frazier, by way of the phone. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ralph Williams. I am the host of the Sports Corner Show. And yeah, what do you want to talk about? Let me talk to you. All right. We have a lot to talk about today. We have a special guest with us coming up shortly, Bo Crouch. He has a podcast called Coast to Coast. He also covers the Seattle Seahawks and Seattle sports. And we're going to have him come on to talk about the Seattle Seahawks Super Bowl victory. Today we were supposed to have Steve Baldessari, who covers the New England Patriots, but Steve could not make it today because of technical reasons. He could not be on the air with us today. So, Steve, I hope you get your technical problems straightened out, and he'll be on at another time. And later on today, the final ever, the fake Mike Tomlin press conference. We're going to have that coming up later on as well, and a whole lot more right here on the Sports Corner Show. And then stay tuned at 5 o'clock for Wrestle Talk with me, Ralph Williams, and Smokin Jim Frazier. We got a lot to talk about there as well. WWE, big news. Somebody from the Division is not going to be around for a while, and we'll talk about that and a whole lot more coming up for Wrestle Talk. So stay right here. We're on the Sports Nuts Network. We're also on the YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter X platforms, and we're also on the air on these following radio stations: 95.5 KFCE in Terrell, Texas, TigerNation.com, Texas, Oklahoma, and Missouri. 93.3 KGR in Seattle, and the Hawaii Sports Radio Network. Aloha to our friends in Hawaii. And we're also live on 107.5 The Ticket in Montgomery, Alabama, and AM 610 in Albuquerque, New Mexico, 105.5 FM The Roar in Easley, South Carolina, and WGR 550 AM in Buffalo, New York. And I want to thank all those folks for having us today here on the Sports Corner Show here on the Sports Nuts Network. All right. Smokin Jim, welcome. How are you today? It's great to have you. Oh, you know it, man. You know it. It's going to be a great show, as it always is here. So it's the big show. And let's bring up our special guest, Bo Crouch. Bo, from Coast to Coast podcast and several other shows that he does. And he also has covers Seattle sports.
Yep.
Bo, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys. Good to see you. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while, Bo. But, I wanted to have you on today, talk with us about the Seattle Seahawks. I know the celebrations are in order in Seattle because they won the game on Sunday, the Super Bowl. and everybody's talking about commercials and everybody's talking about everything else, but we're going to talk about the game itself. And I thought that the game itself was not a bad game. It was competitive all the way till the fourth quarter when Seattle let loose and was able to get have some more scores. But go ahead, Bo. Your thoughts on this game and the season for the Seahawks?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, great season for the Hawks. Especially when you figure most of this offense was newly put together. They had replaced parts of the offensive line. Obviously, most of the receiving core was new, a new quarterback. So, I mean, a lot of new pieces. And you can say the same for both sides. I mean, when you look at New England, they had 30 players that it was their first year with New England. So, I mean, both sides had a lot of new pieces. A lot to be happy with. And, I guess it just you got to feel good for Sam, right?
Yes, absolutely.
People kept outing him all year. The whole 2 weeks leading up to the Super Bowl, people were nonstop talking about him seeing ghosts and, all of that kind of nonsense. So really good for him to dispel some of those old things and, come out of there with a ring.
Absolutely. He got rid of some of the bad, what they call the bad smell from when he was with the Jets and some of the other teams. He did well in Minnesota when he was with Kevin O'Connell up there. And I think now Minnesota's sorry they got rid of him. I mean, that was a bust there because they were relying on J.J. McCarthy. You see where that went this year for the Minnesota Vikings. So, but Smokin' Jim, any questions for Bo? You there, Smokin' Jim? I hope we didn't lose him. Okay.
It don't get any easier for Seattle Seahawks moving forward. That division is just incredible with the talent in the division, the innovative coaching with the Rams and San Francisco 49ers. Do you see Seattle maybe taking a step back next year, maybe not even making a playoff because of how tough their division is?
So no, most of the guys on this roster are, they were just signed to this roster, right? I mean, most of this is complete turnaround from anything that was on Pete Carroll's, roster there. So the defense, a lot of that was brought in last year. The offense was mostly brought in this year. Obviously, Kenneth Walker is a free agent, so that's a question mark. But a lot of these guys are in a position to run this thing back. And so do I think they take a step back? Sure. I mean, the odds of you having, 3 teams in the same division with, double-digit wins is, that's tough, right? That's a tough thing to duplicate. I do think that you probably end up with that again. Seattle is – I don't see them taking a far enough step back to miss the playoffs. Could they be, could the Rams win the division? Sure. Right. I actually thought the Rams were going to win the division this year. I thought they were going to be a 10-win team and a wild card berth. I think they probably could be an 11 and 12 win team next year. So do I think they missed the playoffs? No. If you're talking just overall record, take a step back, that's entirely possible.
All right. I want to thank, let's see here. We got Dakota. We have Antrell. We also have Steve from the south side of Pittsburgh. And we also have Simone. And I want to thank Jacob as well for participating in today's show with your comments in the comments section here as part of the show as well. Bo, as Smokin' Jim reiterated, and now you have, Arizona has a new coach and Mike LaFleur. Do you think that also with Clint Kubiak leaving to go to the Las Vegas Raiders to be their head coach, do you think that Seattle loses a step there on offense, or are they going to move somebody up within the team, or how's that going to work out?
Obviously this situation happened yesterday, right? Where it was officially announced. So I haven't seen all of the potential OC candidates. That being said, I don't expect them to take a huge step back. When you think of like the Lions, right?
Right.
They were okay, but then as soon as injuries started to happen, that team fell apart. So if the team can stay healthy, I don't foresee Seattle, taking a huge step back. Again, maybe one or two losses more than this year, but they're still a very good team.
My question is, can Mike McDonald work without his coordinators? Now, I said this about Dan Campbell, and I was right. I said Dan Campbell was going to have struggle this year without his top coordinators who moved on to head coaching jobs. And he struggled on offense, had to call plays, things like that. Now, that's my question to you about Seattle. Do you believe will they struggle on offense now that Clint Kubiak's not around anymore? And who does Mike McDonald go out and find to keep Sam Darnold in check, and even if Sam's even going to be part of the team?
Yeah, so Sam Darnold's obviously going to be part of the team. He signed a 3-year deal.
I'm sorry. I thought he was on a 1-year deal or something. I didn't.
No. He signed almost the same deal that Baker Mayfield did. So,
okay.
3-year, right. $90 million. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't foresee it being that big of an issue.
Right.
Obviously it's going to be somewhat of one because he's not an OC, right? Okay. It's not like he was an offensive mind that elevated to the head coach position.
Right.
So he is going to lean on whatever OC comes in for that position. Like if he loses a DC, it's not the end of the world, right?
Right.
Because that's where he cut his teeth.
That's his specialty, Mike McDonald. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. He was a good defensive coordinator with the Ravens. I mean,
exactly.
He had a very good defense with the Ravens. I have no knock on that. I was just kind of surprised that 2 years into head coaching, and he was in the Super Bowl. And, we saw what Liam Cohen did with Jacksonville this year, and Ben Johnson did with Chicago. I mean, guys coming in 1 and 2 years into the job, and they're doing, they're doing better than some other people. You know what I mean?
It's the exact thing that Pete Carroll did.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
So his second year in and boom, wins the Super Bowl. So, I don't know. It's encouraging to see where they're at. The other thing that's nice about this team is they still have their draft picks. They actually have a decent amount of cap space. They probably don't re-sign Walker, right? He's a free agent. And he's going to command a lot of money being a Super Bowl MVP.
Right.
But, Seattle historically doesn't love to pay big money to running backs. So I would not be surprised, especially since Charbonnet will be back, right? He's going to come in about halfway through the season. Halani maximized his efforts when he got opportunities. I could see them letting Walker go and maybe taking a flyer on grabbing like a Breece Hall.
Right.
Who you could get relatively cheap. You don't need him to be an every down back outside of the first few games of the year. As soon as Charbonnet gets back, Charbonnet would be the guy. So it wouldn't shock me if Walker, especially with that MVP, will the value across the league will go way up if they let him walk.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Smokin' Jim, any more questions for Bo? Do you have anything else you want to add? All right, Bo, while I have you real quick, I want to ask you, Seattle Kragen, I haven't been keeping up with hockey too much. My friend Pensman Sports is the hockey guru. I haven't been keeping up with hockey. I've been focusing on football most of the time, but now I'll get into hockey now that football's done. You know what I mean? So how's the Kragen looking this year? What's their story?
So the Kraken are interesting. They're kind of inconsistent. They're currently in the third spot in the Pacific Division. So if it all ended today, they would be a playoff team, but they've been really streaky. And, one of the big issues with it is they just have a hard time scoring. So they actually defend fairly well, but they just have a really hard time finding the back of the net with consistency. So they'll go on, a couple of game streak, and then they'll drop 4 or 5. And so you'll see them climb and drop in the rankings constantly, which, as you're covering them can be a little bit frustrating to watch. But as good as they are when they are in, a normal situation, they have a hard time with penalty kills. They've actually given up quite a few shorthanded points. And then on the other side, they struggle to score on power plays.
Okay.
And so for
They
whatever,
sound like the old Pittsburgh Penguins.
kind of. Yeah, no, I mean, it's, it's
a roller coaster kind of year. And then you have, the power play stinks and all that stuff,
Well,
so.
and of course, to really show you how much they've struggled to score, through the first 22 games of the season, they had 10 overtime games.
Wow.
Like they were fine at holding you down. They just also couldn't score. So, all those overtime games helped them as far as points, right? Because,
right.
You get points for going into overtime. But at the same time, if that's how you're winning games, that doesn't bode well for postseason play. Right. So even if they find their way in, I just don't know if they're going to be able to score enough to really go very far. But they are an entertaining team to watch.
All right, we got Candy, Mickey Delaney checking in. Thank you, Mickey. Also, we got Isaiah checking in as well. Thank you, Isaiah. It's great to have everyone on board here. We're live on the Sports Nuts Network and radio, 9 radio stations across the country. And we're also around the world, too. We're broadcasting live in South Africa, also Australia, and several other countries all across the world here. And the UK, Jill checking in. From the UK, I want to thank her, and also we are checking in Alaska. Several folks up in Alaska that tune into us here, and also in Texas and several other places. Also in Boise, Idaho, we got Kevin checking in. Thank you, Kevin, Boise, Idaho, and so Seattle. We got Vinny checking in from Seattle. And who I guess must watch your stuff, Bo, or he's just following me because I have a friend named Vinny that lives in Seattle. So, that's probably him. So, but anyway, Bo, tell us a little bit about your Coast to Coast podcast. I know you cover Seattle sports, and you're on several other podcasts as well, talking all different types of sports. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Coast to Coast is just a general sports show. It's a daily show, 7 a.m. Pacific time, and we cover all sports on that. But yeah, I mean, obviously, on my end personally, I am media credentialed for the NHL, WNBA, Major League Rugby, arena football.
Wow, Major League Rugby. Ooh.
Yeah,
arena football. Wow. We haven't heard arena football in a while.
Yeah. So I'm credentialed for a lot of stuff, Senior Bowl, all that stuff.
Yeah. That's great.
Working on my credentials right now for this season for the Mariners. So.
Oh, there you go. What's the Mariners looking like this year, Bo, while we have you here?
Well, I mean, we're not sure yet, right? Nobody's had to report. They're still 2 weeks out, a week and a half out from pitchers, catchers starting to report. And so, we'll see. They've made some moves, but nothing that moves the needle yet. So, I'm curious to see if there's going to be any new acquisitions. Maybe some people brought up from, AAA, anything like that. So we'll be watching close, but until they report, we don't really know what they have going on.
I see. All right. Bo, why have you here? How much more time do I have you here for? I mean,
we're good. We're good.
Okay, good. All right, great. Okay, let's take a look at the 10 brand new head coaches in the NFL for 2026. And Smokin, Jim, do you have any final questions for Bo before we get into the new coaches?
No, sir.
All right. Let's start off with the New York Giants. John Harbaugh. What's your thoughts on that hire, Bo?
Yeah, so I like that acquisition. There's some nice things on that roster. It's certainly an upgrade at coach. So I expect the Giants to be interesting, not necessarily good, but I expect them to be interesting. I can see them probably winning some games they shouldn't, losing some games they shouldn't. The division is going to be kind of open. The offense for the Eagles haven't looked particularly good. Dallas tends to get in their own way, and Washington was the oldest roster in the league, so they kind of aged out really fast. So they have a lot of work to do to kind of get that roster younger to be able to compete. So do I think the Giants are going to be great year one with Harbaugh? Probably not, but they're certainly going to be interesting.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I believe they hired Greg Roman is their offensive coordinator there. So, Greg Roman's got a reputation. He's been around, so I think he might not do too bad there. I think John Harbaugh, your thoughts, Smokin' Jim, on John Harbaugh with the Giants?
You can't go wrong with
It is really hard to hear him.
Future Hall of Fame coach, bro.
Oh, I know. I think it's a good hire. Okay, here's a strange hire. Atlanta fans and Bo, you and I know that Brandon Keeler and Matt Thomas of the Sports Nuts are very big Atlanta fans, Falcons fans. Kevin Stefanski, this is his second go-around as a head coach. Perhaps he might do better in Atlanta than anybody can do better anywhere than Cleveland. But, I mean, what do you think of this hire here, Bo?
I like it. I mean, when you are with a franchise and your front office undermines what you're trying to do constantly, I don't know how effective you think your coach is really going to be. So, I mean, when they're dictating to you which quarterback you have to use, even though you specifically drafted a guy that fits the model you want to run, I don't know what the plan is there. So fast forward, now he's in Atlanta. He's going to be a much better coach there. There's no way he's just going to randomly forget that Bijan Robinson is on the roster like the last coaching staff did. Like there's entire games where he just wasn't involved, which is bizarre to me. So I think Stefanski is a huge step up. Plus, you got to keep in mind, Atlanta's division isn't exactly a juggernaut of talent.
No, that's one of the worst in the league. I mean, the NFC South, you can get to the playoffs and be 8-9. Literally. I mean, it's Tampa Bay, I think, went to the playoffs. Correct me if I'm wrong. A couple of times, 9-8, 8-9. I mean,
So they have, I mean, Tampa Bay went once with a losing record. Carolina went twice. And but yeah, I mean, so if you have the team that
Carolina went this year, Carolina went.
Well, and that's the second time they've done it with a losing record.
With a losing record, right?
But when you look at the roster of Atlanta, you put competent coaching in there. That's probably a couple more wins just off the top.
Yeah, and Stefanski brought back his offensive coordinator from Cleveland, and I'm actually quite surprised he went with him, Alex Van Pelt, because I know for a fact there was some friction between the two of them. And it got so bad, Bo, that Alex Van Pelt actually sat down with Pat Narduzzi from Pitt, and they had a discussion because at the time before Pitt hired Cade Bell, that Pitt was looking for an offensive coordinator, and Van Pelt said, I got to get out of Cleveland. I can't deal with Stefanski no more. And then all of a sudden, somebody from the ownership group stepped up and I guess sat them down and said, boys, work it out. And I guess they worked it out. So I guess now, he's going to go down there and see what happens, so.
And Rob, we're going over all the new coaching hires.
Yeah, we are. We're going over all of them. Yep, exactly. So, Smokin' Jim, your thoughts on Stefanski with Atlanta?
Two-time head coach of the year. That ain't too shabby, bro.
That's it. All right, next.
Is there a way to turn his volume up? Can't hardly
hear.
Yeah,
I have it up as there. How about now? Try now, Smokin' Jim. Go ahead.
Can you hear me a little better, Bo?
Yeah, I just turned it up now. I don't know what's going on with his volume.
Yeah, it's not really coming through.
Okay, hold on a minute. Let me see what I can work with here. Hold on a second.
And Rob, no, we haven't gone over anything like that. We just started the coach conversation.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm sorry.
I'm just answering your chat.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry about that. I haven't got to them yet. So
No, you're
yeah,
good.
but
I just
anyway.
figured while you were playing with the audio, I'd keep the thing moving. And yeah, you really can't hear the audio from the phone.
All right, I don't understand what's going on with that, but All right, well, we'll go from there. All right, let's move on here. All right, let's get into I turned it up as far as I can go with it. I don't know how much more I can do it, but
No
we'll go
worries.
from there. All right, Jeff Hafley, Miami Dolphins. This was I kind of suspected he was going to get a head coaching job. I didn't know it was going to be with Miami. But Jeff Hafley's from Pittsburgh, coached at Boston College. Got out of college football because he didn't want to deal with the NIL anymore. Went to Green Bay, had a good defense there. I think Hafley's a smart guy. Coached under Dave Wannstedt and Pitt. And what do you think about Jeff Hafley there, Bo?
It doesn't move the needle for me at all.
Okay.
So, you're looking at a Miami team that
is in total a dumpster fire.
It is.
Literally.
It is. They would have been better off to just keep McDaniels there for another year to see, what it is they could do. Because, as the team's currently constructed,
he's stuck with Tua.
He's stuck with Tua. Tyreek's gone. They might have to move Waddle. Like, this is a team that is falling apart. I don't know that moving into a new coach in a year that a third of the league gets fired was the right call. But here we are. So, if you're a Miami fan, you got to be kind of apprehensively looking at this as you may get way worse.
Okay, hang on 1 second, Bo. I'm going to fix this sound issue with Smokin' Jim here for a minute.
Sounds good. And Rob, you're right. Anyone coaching Miami is inheriting a mess. You are 100% correct there. Miami is really just kind of a dumpster fire. You can't imagine that they really have it worked out as far as what they like at QB. You don't know if Tua can stay healthy. Ewers is an old rookie. He's going into his second year. Zach Wilson's your third option that, who knows? Maybe they can keep him on the Jets trend, right? Where you get fired from the Jets, you go to a couple of spots and maybe you become good. Same path that Geno and Darnold and, so
right.
Maybe that's why you take the flyer on him. But as it sits today, you can't look at that roster, the new coaching staff, and think, we're making huge steps forward.
All right, Smokin' Jim, your thoughts on Miami and Jeff Hafley. Go ahead.
I agree 100% with Bo.
All right. Can you hear him better now, Bo?
Not really. It's funny, though, because of the way that it's breaking up, it sounds like you're at like a fast food drive-through.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, I got it. That's all right. All right. Anyway, because I switched him to another channel. So, thinking maybe he might be able to get through better. So there you are. All right. Let's go into the next one here. Robert Saleh, Tennessee Titans. There's another dumpster fire there. And I'm not sure, has Saleh learned his lesson? I don't know. Nobody can coach the Jets. It's a dumpster fire regardless of who coaches it. But we'll see what happens there. What's your thoughts on Robert Saleh, Bo?
I like him as a coach. I thought he kind of got shafted in New York. And the only reason I say that is, he's a defensive coach. The offense is wildly underperforming. They, fire an OC. They demote Hackett when he went back. And the one side of the ball that was great was the side of the ball he controlled, which was the defense. The defense was fantastic the whole time he was there. They fire him. They elevate a DC, which also made no sense. And, then the defense falls apart. The Jets just do a lot of terrible things. So then he goes on to San Fran and gets the absolute most out of that particular out of that situation. So no, I'm happy he gets another shot at this. Realistically, if you are the head coach of a team like, unfortunately for him, he's going to Tennessee, but I was going to say Tennessee, the Browns. if you don't do great there, most other jobs look at it as, yeah, but I mean, no one's done great there, right?
Yeah,
So, I
exactly.
mean, you look at guys that have stopped in some of those locations and then gone on to do great things. So those few spots, if you get fired from those jobs, you'll get another shot, because no one looks at that and like, oh yeah, you probably just can't coach. They look at that and they're like, no, there's a systemic problem within the building. And I don't care how good of a coach you are, you're probably not going to succeed.
Yeah, I don't have anything against women owning football teams, but that lady that owns the Tennessee Titans, after Mike Vrabel left, I think it kind of went downhill, and so it's kind of like if you ever watched the show Landman, Demi Moore is running the oil company, and she has no idea how to run it. You know what I mean? And that's where it's at in Tennessee. I mean
you can look at the same thing from the other side, though, because
the other side of it too,
are running the Colts in an amazing way.
Yeah, they are, and we'll see what they do with Shane Steichen, how much of a leash they give him in Indianapolis. So all right, next, or Smokin' Jim, your thoughts on Tennessee? Go ahead.
I like to hear coach. He's gonna make them tougher, man.
There you go. All right. Okay, let's get into Jesse Minter, Baltimore Ravens. I think this was a good hire, as much as I don't like the Ravens, but despite the fact I live in Maryland, but I don't like the Ravens. But go ahead, Bo.
Yeah, like I thought it was a curious one based on the.
I don't know what happened there. You okay, Bo? I can't hear you, Bo. All right, Bo's getting his sound together there. Smokin' Jim, real quick, your thoughts on Jesse Minter with the Baltimore Ravens? Bo's.
There we go.
I think the Ravens is going to live to regret it.
Really? I didn't know that. Wow. I thought you're not a Jesse Minter fan.
I don't. It's all about the matchup. I don't like the matchup with him and Baltimore. No way I went with him. I live to regret it.
Oh, okay. So it's just you don't think it's going to work. So, yeah, I got it. All right, Bo, how about you? What's your thoughts on Jesse Minter? Go ahead.
I thought it was a curious hire with some of the other people available. I think they didn't take the swing they should have. Because they interviewed some guys, including Kubiak, that I think they probably should have taken before this. So yeah, I'm with Jim here. I think that may not have been a great hire.
All right, how about we go with Joe Brady, Buffalo, elevated from offensive coordinator. They wasted no time hiring him or moving him up. And, so your thoughts on Joe Brady, Bo?
Yeah, I think that hire showed more about the dysfunction at the top.
Okay.
Because nobody wanted that job. In fact, people that were entertaining it pulled out of interviewing for that to take the
exactly.
job,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes you think that the top is a problem.
Oh, yeah, there has to be something wrong when you let Sean McDermott go. I mean, and I get that Josh Allen has had some injuries over the years, and whatnot, and laid an egg in the playoffs. I get that. But sometimes you got to keep going with what works. And Sean McDermott, I didn't see, a problem there, although I kind of compared him to Mike Tomlin a little bit. Couldn't get there, but had the team where it needed to be.
It may have ran its course as a head coach, but when you look at other head coach quality guys that are set to interview with you and they decide, you know what, I'd rather be a coordinator than be the head coach for you, that's a problem. That's a red flag, right? So I am very curious to see what that front offices look like. Then you see the owner come out and, throw the old coach under the bus, then talk poorly about a guy that's on your roster. It's not like you traded Keon away. You're burying this guy. He's still on your roster. So, I mean, I can't imagine the way that they're talking. If that's the way it's going down, they elevate their GM, who really didn't do anything to be excited about. Just seemed just seems like it's going to be a problem.
Oh yeah, it could be. I'm not sure. I mean, Joe Brady, he's a pretty decent offensive coordinator. I'm not exactly sure what he is as a head coach. We haven't seen anything out of him for that, so we're going to find out. It's going to be a learning curve, and we'll see where Buffalo goes with that. Smoking Jim, Joe Brady, go ahead.
I agree 100% with Bo.
There you go. All right. Okay. Excuse me. Oh my! Wow. The Cleveland Browns and Todd Monken. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I can't get that out. It's so bad in Cleveland. Yep. All right. Todd Monken, Cleveland Browns. I got to do one of these, Bo.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Does it even matter who's coaching that team? I mean, it just, they go through coaches, they go through quarterbacks. I mean, they came out and said that they're going to give Deshaun Watson a real shot at getting that starting job. I mean, you can't walk into that job thinking, you know what, I'm going to be the difference here. I mean, you probably do in the back of your mind, and then you get in the building and you're like, well, I mean, at least they're going to fire me and I'm still going to get paid. Like that. That's all I can think of.
Yeah. Well, Jim Schwartz wanted that job and they didn't give it to him. He wanted it. I mean, who wants that job? I mean, yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you got prominent guys walking away, and let's be honest, the defense was the only shiny spot of this team.
Exactly.
So, I mean, this is it's all bad for Cleveland fans. But on the plus side, at least they're used to it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Excuse me, Smoking Jim. Your thoughts on? Excuse me, Cleveland Todd Monken. Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
I thought it was a solid hire. I think he got a blueprint of what he wants to do. It may not be successful, but he's coming in with his blueprint. He's a solid guy. Might be a bridger coach, a guy that's there 4 or 5 years for to elevate maybe somebody off his staff, but I think the hire was solid.
Yeah, we'll see what Todd Monken's made of. So he's been a college coach, so we'll see what he does. As far as being an NFL head coach, did reasonable with the Ravens as an offensive coordinator. I mean, he didn't do bad there. But anyway, all right, Mike LaFleur.
That's why
Arizona Cardinals.
That's why I didn't say anything bad about him. It's just the organization. Like, he may be an amazing coach, but we're not going to know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like Smokin' Jim said, he could be a bridge coach. Maybe in the next 5 years, he could get that team up, and some younger guy comes step up and take over. We'll see. Mike LaFleur, Arizona Cardinals.
So the LaFleur hire I didn't mind until they went and got Hackett, and then it just made me think that they don't care about winning.
Oh, Nathaniel Hackett's their offensive coordinator. I can't believe it. Oh my gosh, that guy. I'm sorry. His father was a really good offensive coordinator, a good coach. Sure. His father was, but not. Oh, man, I'll tell you. Smoking Jim, Mike LaFleur, Arizona Cardinals. Good.
Toughest division in football.
Yeah.
Until they get their quarterback situation straightened out, they're not going to go anywhere.
You got that right. Okay. Excuse me. The Las Vegas Raiders and Clint Kubiak. They waited. They got what they wanted, and here we are. Clint Kubiak. Do you think he follows in his father's footsteps and does a well of a job, or do you think that it's going to take him time to build this back up? The Raiders have been on a downfall for a long time here, so it hasn't been just recently. So they've made some bad hires there too. But go ahead, Bo.
Yeah, I actually like this. If you're a Raiders fan, you're coming into a year where Kubiak's coming off winning a Super Bowl. The offense was the 3rd best offense in the league. Then you go and you have the number 1 overall pick. You have the 2nd most cap space. You have Crosby, and if you keep him, awesome. And if you don't, you're going to get at least 2 number 1s for him. You have 2 really great tight ends, a running back. I mean, there's a lot to like about this. Plus, you're going to have a patient owner. They signed him to a 5-year deal because you got to try and turn this thing around. And in that amount of time, you have KC that's going to be on the downside. because
Yeah,
we're
Casey's
aging
going to
out.
be. Oh,
You
absolutely.
have
Yeah.
the Broncos about that same time are going to have to start paying people. And the
Yeah.
Chargers are the Chargers. You never really know what's happening there. So, I mean, the timeline for the Raiders with this hire and what they have in front of them, kind of works. If you're looking at them to be relevant, not this coming season, but the following, and then moving forward, just kind of building on it, that timeline works.
Well, I got to say this: if Justin Herbert doesn't do better with Mike McDaniel there as offensive coordinator, then there's a problem there, obviously, because Mike McDaniel's a good offensive mind, and I think he'll be able to get Justin Herbert where he needs to be to finally get over the top with him. You know what I mean? As far as that goes, Kellen Moore was there too. But we'll see. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Smokin' Jim, Las Vegas Raiders, Clint Kubiak.
Well, Justin Herbert put up some of the greatest numbers in NFL history from start till now. Just because he can't beat Kansas City doesn't mean he's been a flop. But I think that it's going to be boom or bust with the Raiders. They're going to have to ride it out with the first pick overall.
Yeah, Mendoza.
If he's a boom, then that's a successful hire. If he's a bust, it's going to set the program back. He could be the next J.J. McCarthy. Who knows? You just never know. You just never know. And but they got to put all their eggs in the quarterback basket, and let's see where it goes. And again, the Raiders play in a pretty tough division.
Yeah, they do. They do. You're exactly correct. Okay, last but not least, and I didn't forget, Mike McCarthy, Pittsburgh Steelers. Bo, what's your thoughts on Mike McCarthy?
Hey, Steeler fans are going to enjoy their first losing season in quite a while.
Smokin' Jim called, and I called this one. We wanted Mike McCarthy. I wanted Mike McCarthy, or I wanted Brian Flores for this job. That's who I wanted.
I mean, no matter who got it for this year, they were destined to have a rough year because you have the most expensive, underperforming defense in the league. They just really didn't. They really didn't fulfill the bill. You have quarterback questions still, right? You don't know if Rodgers is going to come back. You don't know if they're going to try and roll with Mason Rudolph. Like, you have no idea what that is. You have one wide receiver who is a problem. And we got to see him firsthand in Seattle.
Yeah.
I was telling Seattle fans that we should let him go 2 years before we did. And so, unfortunately, there's just a lot of chaos in this particular year's Pittsburgh Steelers. So I expect them to be like a 7 or 8 win team as they try and figure out what it is they're moving forward. But yeah, I mean, McCarthy doesn't move the needle there at all because the roster just isn't that good.
Yeah, well, my opinion is there are a lot of overpaid guys on defense that they probably need to ship out and get some draft picks. Either that or get some type of a reasonable player that's willing to come in here and play. They have Nick Herbig, at linebacker. They need to do something with him because he's getting disgusted. He wants to play. And, he's already made it known. He's already spoke up. He wants to play. And they got to do something here. They've got too much money involved in this defense, as you mentioned, and it's underperforming. And it's been going on for a while now. We'll see what happens with Patrick Graham as the defensive coordinator. Whole different setup.
And from what I've heard, Queen wants out and Cam Hayward retired. So, I mean, like got there's so many questions and holes in this roster that unless you just, pull a rabbit out of the hat, I don't expect them to be a 1 year fix for this team.
Yeah, I think Queen wants that because I believe that Queen probably thinks that, he's not going to get away with what he got away with Mike Tomlin. A lot of these guys came because of Mike Tomlin, to the team, I want to play for Mike Tomlin. And that's what happened there. And that could be the case. I mean, and if he wants out, that's fine. Goodbye. Toodaloo. You know what I mean? I mean, first couple and when good teams get rid of players, there's a reason for it. And when Seattle traded DK Metcalf to the Steelers, there had to be a reason. And I mean, there you go, right there. We saw it.
Yep.
2-game suspension cost the team. And he was the man. I mean, the only man. You know what I mean? And so we saw that Patrick Queen. The Ravens maybe were right about him not being. They overpaid him there, and then he comes to the Steelers, and he had a somewhat of a reasonable year this year. TJ Watt's making what he's making, and Cam Hayward's the only one that's really done anything, pretty much. You know what I mean?
Queen was fantastic with the Ravens,
right?
And he had an okay year with you guys. He actually was slated to be a Seahawk, and then decided to go to Pittsburgh. I bet he's kicking himself for that decision now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably why he wants out too. You know what I mean?
You guys are definitely in a rebuild now. So there is that. To answer Scott's question there, the best QB fit. This is going to sound weird, but because you're rebuilding and you could use a bridge guy, and of course, Rudolph's not that guy, right? If you spend a little bit of money on the interior of the offensive line and you get a cheap Derek Carr because he wants to come out of retirement, that could be interesting because he is a good passer of the football. He puts up a ton of yards. I mean, when you think of his time with the Raiders, his numbers actually weren't horrible. It's just
they were
the
not.
Raiders defense was god awful. And so if he ever made a mistake, it was an automatic loss. And so if you're looking at a bridge guy that you could get cheap, especially in a prove it type of deal because he's coming off of this injury, a Carr could be interesting.
Oh yeah. Somebody said Wilson. Oh no, Russell Wilson. No.
I'll be surprised if he's not in the booth next year. I don't know. After his last couple of stops, as bad as they've been, I don't know if anyone takes a flyer on Russell Wilson again.
No, I don't think so. I don't either. But his wife makes enough money to justify it. So you know what I mean.
He made enough money from the Broncos.
The Broncos, he probably banked his money, and I don't blame him. I mean, I would too.
That was the best contract for a player ever. He never even took a snap under that contract.
I know exactly. Yeah. Oh, don't forget, what is it? June 1st or is it July 1st? That's Bobby Bonilla Day. That's when Bobby Bonilla gets his money every year from the Mets.
Yeah, that's coming. That's coming to an end pretty soon, I think.
Yeah, I think in the next 3 or 4 years, I think it's coming to an end. Yeah, Bobby Bonilla Day. So he's Russell Wilson Day. You know what I mean?
I always think of that day as the cut date, right?
yeah, exactly. March 1st. There you go, March 1st or whatever. Yeah, that's Russell Wilson Day. Yeah. All right, Smokin' Jim, Mike McCarthy. I already know your thoughts, but go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to ask Bo. Bo, what were you guys seeing in Seattle with DK Metcalf that raised the red flags for you guys?
Okay, so for everyone that's listening, if you couldn't hear him, he asked what raised the flags for DK. So the biggest thing is, he has a ton of talent, right? Like he's a physical monster. I found it weird that people kept comparing him to Megatron, and I know it was mostly because of his stature, right? Like he's just a big physical guy. The problem is he doesn't play like Megatron. So when you look at his actual skill set, he's Des Bryant. He plays go balls really well, has contested balls really well. Soon as it is a route combination, you have to make some of the easier catches. He tends to drop those. He runs lazy routes. But then the biggest part of that is every year he was in the league, he kept getting more and more after the play, unsportsmanlike penalties. And those are absolute drive killers, right? So, I mean, they can kill drives. One of the worst examples of that was 2 years ago against the Bengals. He play is long since over, and he just shoves their corner to the ground, gets a 15-yarder. We end up losing that game because of that drive. And, he just kept having more and more of those situations. So, I had been saying, hey, let's get him out of there. And Steelers fans like, oh, we got one over on you. And then DK goes off and punches a fan and gets suspended for a couple of games and all of that. So, I mean, unfortunately, he is easy to rattle. Guys can get under his skin, whether it's a defense, whether it's a fan base, doesn't really matter. He tends to be more of a liability than the talent he brings.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Robert makes a good point here about DK makes tough catches, easy catches, but Robert, he drops a lot of balls too. He dropped a lot this year.
So his second part of that probably was meant to say can't make the easy catches.
Can't make the easy catches. Yeah, well, there were a few that he didn't make exactly.
Yeah, so, like they'll be right in the numbers, and he'll drop those.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, Bo, thank you for being part of the program. We're gonna be moving on here. We got to get to the fake Mike Tomlin press conference, and then we got our wrestling show at 5:00. So, Bo, thanks for being part of the program. Smokin' Jim, any final thoughts or questions for Bo?
Bo may be the best guest we ever had, man. Great job, Bo.
All right, thank you. All right. Thank you, Bo. Appreciate it. Have yourself a great one, and check out Bo's Coast to Coast show on YouTube and some of his other broadcasting. And thank you again, Bo, and have yourself a great one. And please stay warm.
It's actually beautiful here in Seattle, so that is nice. Thanks again for having me on. Always fun to hang out. Take it easy, guys.
Right. Have a great one, Bo. We'll have you on again. Thanks. All right, that was Bo Crouch from Coast to Coast Podcast. Smokin' Jim, your thoughts on Bo, and we're going to get to coming up the fake Mike Tomlin press conference.
Bo did a great job, man. He's knowledgeable, like you said, from coast to coast, and there is a lot of professional teams in Seattle, which I didn't know they had that much. I mean, you mentioned the arena football and some other things, man. But wow, Seattle is a happening place, man. Congratulations to the Seahawks, and congratulations to Bo for the extended knowledge, man.
All right. We'll be right back in 1 second here. And RW Media Productions presents the fake Mike Tomlin press conference, the very last fake Mike Tomlin press conference. Coach Tomlin here is going to be announcing that he is stepping down, and that this is the only other press conference that he's had. He actually sent out a statement when he stepped down. So here's the fake Mike Tomlin. Thank you. I'm here today to announce that I am stepping down as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going to miss the guys. I'm going to miss the collective. A few times we got caught with our slip showing. And, it's just, grapes turning grapes into wine. And, we just, there's some things that we just didn't accomplish. And, I want to spend more time with my family. And I'm going to come out and do something I don't normally do. I'm going to admit that I gave up on this team, and the players gave up on it too a little bit as well. I'm going to throw them under the bus right now. But anyway, so I'll field a couple questions here. The guy here with the Kango hat, go ahead.
Hey, Coach Tomlin, great 19 years. You're stepping away. Could it be like any given Sunday when you come back and you coach against us with the Cleveland Browns?
Well, right now, I'm not really planning on doing any coaching. I want to spend some time with my family. I probably will have grandkids coming real soon, and so I going to my daughter's events and things like that. I promised her I'd step away just to go to her events and help my wife's clothing line out a little bit, be a spokesman for that. And, so that's step away for a little bit, collect my thoughts, go on some trips, and, do a few things with the family, but I've decided after 19 years to step away from the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I want to be apologetic for this, but I have to do what's best for me and my family. And, we just fell short. We didn't make it. And I feel bad. I'm the captain of the ship, and I'm going to come out and say that part of this is my fault. But, we had some players that let us down, And and we just weren't the collective this year, and too many times we got caught with our slip showing, and we couldn't turn grapes into wine, and we didn't spend enough time in the laboratory, and just a few of the things that we didn't do here with the Pittsburgh Steelers. But maybe someday I'll see the Steelers on the other side, and we'll see what happens. But thank you, and it's been a pleasure. All right. That was the fake Mike Tomlin press conference, and it was great to hear from the fake Mike Tomlin as he stepped down as the coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is the very first time he's actually made a statement because of the fact that he didn't make any kind of statement. He just sent out a written statement. He didn't, hold a final press conference announcing he was stepping down like Bill Cowher did, Chuck Noll did, and some of the other ones. But Smokin' Jim, your thoughts on what the fake Mike Tomlin had to say?
I'm glad we finally heard from the coach.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I thought it was BS that he didn't have a press conference, but I wanted to present to him. I didn't get a chance to, but I wanted to present to him the last ever Pittsburgh press Post-Gazette.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Hey, you know what? Bill here. And you know what's funny? He kept it on his mantle and never opened it.
Well, actually, that was passed on from Chuck Noll.
Chuck Noll, yeah, to Coach Cowher, yeah.
Now Coach Cowher to Mike Tomlin, and I'm sure Mike McCarthy drank it.
No, not at all. Not at all. So, all right, Smokin' Jim, any final thoughts before we wrap things up here today? I want to let everyone know the USA is up on Canada 5-0 in the hockey game in the Olympics. And I also want to send my prayers out to Lindsey Vole, who the downhill skier who crashed and burned. She had some injuries, and sad to hear that she crashed and burned. And so it was just a crazy situation with her. She had an ACL tear, and she was wearing a knee brace to begin with, and she fractured that ACL leg again and had to have emergency surgery. So, but I want to send my prayers out to her family as well. And I want to congratulate her for her wit and courage to come into this. I use Kurt Angle as an example of this. Kurt Angle went in, he wrestled with an injured neck, and he won the gold medal. Lindsey Vaughn was trying to do the same thing, and, Lindsey Vaughn just couldn't do it. And, sometimes you come up short like that, but I got to give her credit where it's due. At least she participated and did try with an injury to do this. All right, Smokin' Jim, any final thoughts here before we wrap it up and get ready for Wrestle Talk?
Well, that was great what you said about Lindsay. I thought that was a selfish act for going. I know you compare it to Kurt Angle, but he was 21 years old, never been to the Olympics. She had a lot of Olympic experience. She's 44 years old.
Yeah.
We knew how it was going to end. There's no way a doctor should allow her to go ahead and be a downhill skier with that knee injury. But again, I thought it was selfish on her part. I thought that the doctors did a very poor job. There's no way she should have been cleared. She could have got killed, man.
Yeah, oh yeah, I know. Crashing like that. Yeah.
This ain't evil from evil, man.
No.
This is the Olympics, and no doctor should have been able to clear her.
Yeah, I'm surprised the Olympic committee doctors or somebody with the Olympic doctors didn't step up and say, you can't do this. You know what I mean? And you are right about that. Perhaps maybe the Olympic committee or the Olympic doctors or whoever's in charge of this medical situation kind of laid an egg here a little bit. I didn't think of it in that perspective, but I'm glad that you brought it to my perspective on that. I think you're right. I think the Olympic doctor should have said, sorry, you just can't do this. It's not going to work. You're not cleared, but I did use Kurt Angle as an example because he did it with an injured neck, but you're right. she's double the age of Kurt Angle. She's 44 years old. Kurt Angle was 21. So I mean, it's a whole different age difference. She's been to Olympic competition. She's been doing this for a while, and she's had some injuries too. So, all right, Smokin' Jim, we're going to wrap it up right now. It's time to close up the show. Thank you for watching and listening on our radio station affiliates as well. And until next Tuesday, for Smokin' Jim Frazier, I'm Ralph Williams. Stay tuned. Coming up next, Wrestle Talk with myself and Smokin' Jim Frazier. And we'll be back shortly for Wrestle Talk. So stay tuned right here on the Sports Nuts Network, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter X. Have a great one. Thank you for watching and listening, and please be safe. Thank you.